Last month, I made $37,450.21 as a 16-year-old off of one of my long-form YouTube automation channels. $33,000 of that came from AdSense revenue, and then another $4,000 came from sponsorships. Keep in mind that all of these are all revenue numbers, so before costs, before paying my writers, my designers, artists, etc. In terms of views, I usually get about 4 million views per month. You can see here, July was the highest viewed month with 7 million, June was 4.7 million, May was 5.3, almost 5.4, and then April was a bit lower with 3 million. So for the past few months, I would say I was averaging about 4 or 5 million views plus or minus. And I don't want to show you guys the exact channel because it'll just screw up the channel analytics. It'll just confuse the algorithm because a bunch of people will start watching these videos. They won't even finish the whole video. They'll just click on the video, watch like 30 seconds, and then click off, and then that'll just be terrible for the retention. Also, here is the $50,000 I made in the last 2 months, and I withdrew it from the bank just to show you guys that all of this money is actually real. Internet money is real. So first off, I did all of this with one YouTube long form automation channel that I created in February 7, 2023. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you everything and how I started for free. And the reason why I'm making this is because I don't know any other person who has the same qualifications as me and giving away the sauce for free. I just wanted YouTube long form automation to be on the map, like up there with dropshipping, SMMA, growth operating, all of those top businesses. So I just wanted to post this video because I wanted to show you guys and teach other kids that they can retire their parents at a young age and make a ton of money. Because before doing YouTube long form automation, I used to be some regular ass kid grinding out Fortnite for like 12 hours a day, and I just wanted to show you that you could do it too. And a bunch of you have been asking me to mentor you one-on-one to help you get to $10,000 per month off of YouTube long form automation. So I decided to take you guys up on the request. So I'll be opening up 5 super exclusive spots so that you can learn everything that I know. And if you do want to get into one of the spots, there is an application form in the link in the description. Okay, so here's a quick summary of what I'll talk about through this guide or course hybrid kind of thing. So first, I'll talk about why long form content is better than short form content on any platform. Second, we'll go over how to pick a good niche to go after in long form YouTube automation. Third, we'll go over my methods in choosing viral topics. Fourth, I'll explain where to hire and guidelines to hiring editors, script writers, voice actors, and thumbnail designers. Fifth, I'll talk about tips on actually uploading long form content to YouTube, like how many times to post, if tags or descriptions actually matter. And then 6 will be a quick talk on the importance of analyzing every video that you post. And then 7, I finally show you how to navigate sponsors and brand deals. Okay, so to get straight to the point, I just do YouTube long form automation, and there are 2 main reasons why I don't like short form content on any platform. So the first reason is just because long form content on YouTube just pays better. The average RPM you can make on a long form YouTube video is about $4 per thousand views, up to around $15 per thousand views. So no short form video can compete with that at all. The second reason is that quality long form automation allows you to unlock so many other ways to monetize besides ad revenue. For example, you can get sponsorship deals worth thousands of dollars each. You have the potential to turn into a real brand and a real business so that you can drive your traffic somewhere else to sell products. And even if you want, you can even sell your long form automation channel for hundreds of thousands of dollars and make even millions. So it's pretty much impossible for short form content to be monetized outside of just ad revenue. Now let's move on to picking a good niche. So personally, I think the best niches to go for are the ones that have a working proof of concept with an extremely high number of views compared to the subscriber count. And you need to make sure this criteria is true for 1 or 2 channels in the niche. This means that the niche is super underserved and that there's an extreme demand while little supply. On a side note, extremely high view counts means that your videos attract a very wide and broad audience. From here, I determine what is my revenue potential if I take the number 1 spot and become the biggest in the niche. For example, recently I've been looking to get into another niche and came across this one niche where I saw channels creating 3D models inside war vehicles. My plan was to become the biggest in that niche, but in the end, I just found something better and went to that one. But what I did to come to my decisions was calculate how much I could make. So I went to the Social Blade to see the channel's monthly average views for the last 3 to 4 months. Then I go to Nextlev and then search the name of the channel, which is Blue Paw Print, or you can also just search the name of the niche. Again, I'm not affiliated with any of these. I just like to use the websites and tools that I always mention here. I don't get paid at all from these people, but yeah, I saw on Nextlev that this channel has an RPM of about $7. So doing the math, since they get an average monthly view count of about 2 million views per month, multiplied by the RPM of $7, that means they get paid about $14,000 per month. And they only have posted 6 videos. So if I were to start posting more than once a week on that channel, then I would be making way more than 14K per month. But I did find a better niche, so I decided at the end that I won't go for that one. Also, do keep in mind that some niches do have copyright and demonetization issues, so just be aware of that. But once you can figure out how to get past those issues, then I can guarantee you can be making a bag. So now let's go on to how I come up with topics. So there's 2 types of topics. Number 1 is called trending topics. These are short-lived topics that can see a huge surge in popularity after some big event happens. So for example, the Donald Trump assassination attempt. This topic saw a huge surge in popularity for about a few weeks before dying down. Also, one tip I have: when a topic is trending, you should be one of the first people to post on it while still trying to have better quality than everyone else. Because even though you are the first person to make a video on the trending topic, if someone comes along and posts a higher quality and more engaging video, they will most often beat you. Because at the end of the day, YouTube will just push videos that keep viewers on the platform longer and not who posted the first trending video. They don't really care about that. So when posting trending topics, make sure you don't rush it. Just take your time to make something better than your competitors. And an example of someone who executed this insanely well was a channel called Fern, and as a result, they got 4 million views in the day this video was posted. It was the mapping the Trump shooting, which was obviously a very trending topic. And as you can see, they were obviously not the first video to post on this trending topic, except their video was extremely remarkable and significantly better than everyone else's because they were doing 3D animations, which is why it got over 10+ million views in just a few weeks. And that's why I also don't think that saturation on YouTube exists, because whoever is the best will always beat the competition, just like any other business. The next type of topics are evergreen content, and evergreen topics are basically the exact opposite of trending topics. These topics typically don't have a huge surge in popularity, but they do pull consistent views for a very long period of time. So evergreen topics are topics that can pull views no matter what season it is. An example of an evergreen topic is this video, which is titled "A Time-Lapse of the Future, A Journey to the End of Time." Despite this video being posted more than 5 years ago, it's still pulling almost 1,000 views per hour. Per hour. And the reason why is because it's evergreen. It's about the concept that Earth is eventually going to end, and that topic sparks curiosity like no matter what time in history you post it in. Because the idea that the Earth will eventually end is an idea that will be here for billions of years, which is why it will always be relevant until Earth actually ends. Okay, so I'll show you some strategies I've used in the past that have also gotten me a ton of views. Okay, first is the adaptation method. The adaptation method is by far the best way to get views. Basically, to do this method, you want to go to your closest competitor, and closest meaning the ones that are posting the most similar content to yours, and you want to analyze their most popular video ideas. Basically, you want to think to yourself, okay, what can I do to make a topic that uses the same format/idea, but how can I put a new spin to it, and how can I make it better than the original? So take for example this video, Andrew Tate joins Squid Games. This video did extremely well for the channel and got 4.1 million views. So obviously this format has shown to work in the past. And the format or idea of this video is super simple. Basically, it's what would it look like if a popular celebrity was in Squid Game. Okay, so now that you have the main idea of the format of the video, you want to brainstorm ways that you can make a completely new spin to it. So for example, instead of Andrew Tate, we can do IShowSpeed. And so this channel did it, and as you can see, it performed very well for them as well. 1.2 million views in 7 months. So now that we have data that this format works 2 times, let's try it a 3rd time. Okay, this channel posted Bully Maguire joined Squid Game, and as you can see, 9 million views in 2 years. So now that we have definitive data that this format works and has worked for a long period of time, now what I would do is just milk the hell out of this topic and keep finding people to replace. Now the second and final strategy is just coming up with totally original ideas. These are ideas that no one has ever seen before and are completely new. For example, this video was completely original when it was posted. No one ever heard of this topic of combining the 7 deadly sins from the Bible and representing them as YouTubers. So yeah, that's super original. Okay, so coming up with original ideas is probably the hardest way to get viral videos, but it can pay off extremely well because once you do post a very original video, you essentially have zero competition. Next is hiring a team of people who will basically automate the whole actual video production itself for you, which is where YouTube automation gets its name. So first of all, there are many sites you can go to hire people. The most common ones are Fiverr and Upwork, but I've also found people on Reddit, Discord servers, Instagram, and even Twitter. And as a side note, I already know that a bunch of you are going to try using ChatGPT or AI to write your scripts and do voiceovers, but I'll tell you right now, your quality is going to turn out so ass. So if you end up using bots, then consider yourself a bot too. So when you're on these freelancer sites, you're going to look for a scriptwriter, editor, thumbnail designer, and voice actor. filter. So here's a few frameworks you can use to message these freelancers with. Remember, these are frameworks and not scripts, so don't copy it word for word. Be original, use it as a foundation, and tweak it as you need. And I already know I'm saying this, but a bunch of you guys are still gonna copy it, but it doesn't really matter. So basically, you want the freelancers to know what kind of content they'll be producing, how long you want their videos to be, how fast you need them to be completed, how many projects you'll give them per month, approximate rate you'll be working with, and if this is going to be a long-term or short-term relationship. So you'd message them something like, hey, I'm looking for then state the job title like scriptwriter or editor. I'm looking for someone to produce a script for my YouTube videos in the, then state your niche, like the history niche. Then they'll respond. Then you'll ask them, do you have any past work in this niche? And then they'll send you their past work if they have anything that matches. And you want to review their past work and see if their work quality and style has good potential. And the thing with knowing what has good potential just comes down to experience working with different people. And then eventually you'll find out, for example, what a good scriptwriter or editor is. Now you've filtered people with good potential. I usually will ask them for an unpaid sample, like, hey, would you be able to do a short unpaid sample for 300 words, let's say? I would say keep it around 300 or less. And then for editors, I usually ask them for like a 30-second trial or 1 minute maximum. However, if they do say no, they may ask you to pay for it. And if the person does have a strong track record for other big YouTube automators and has pulled in a ton of views with them, then you should consider paying. But if you don't have the money to risk, you can keep messaging people. But you do need to be very clear that you are asking for an unpaid sample. Eventually, after messaging a ton of people, I'll have a handful of samples. Then I'll start reviewing all of them to see which one is actually the best. This process is kind of subjective, but there are things a freelancer does that I know will help the retention of the video. For example, if a scriptwriter knows how to write an engaging hook that also reconfirms a viewer's click, which I'll talk about right after this real quick. Also, if they know how to rehook the viewer throughout the whole script, and overall if they just have a good flow to their writing. Okay, so you might be wondering, what does it mean to reconfirm the viewer's click? Basically, you want to make sure that the viewer knows exactly what the video is going to be about. You want them to know that they didn't get clickbaited and that everything you showed in the thumbnail and title is going to also be showed in the video. Doing this in the first 1 to 10 seconds is usually the most effective. But recognize what makes a good freelancer again just comes down to experience. Personally, now I'm able to just review a sample work and immediately know if the person is the right one. So I just go by gut feeling, and 9 out of 10, they do turn out perfect for the role. So that's basically it on this talent recruitment section. Now we'll move on to the payment stuff. So you're probably wondering how much to pay freelancers. Well, to be honest, there is no right or wrong price. It just depends on how high quality you want to go for and what payment structure you want to go for. If you are just a beginner with a little bit of money, I suggest going for lesser quality because you don't want to burn through your startup capital. And here's some guidelines I've written out. So for the script writers, there's a basic writer which can usually be found at $2 per 500 words, but this is usually good for channels that post multiple times a day and they don't care about quality, only quantity. And then there's the advanced writer, which is good for channels that post anywhere between 1 to 3 times per week, and they usually cost about 15 cents per word. So when I started YouTube long form automation, I went and I currently still go for the more advanced writers since I post documentaries and explainer type of videos which are normally higher quality. Next is going to be the visual designer or editor. So most low-end editors will just use stock footage without any After Effects, good music, or any good sound effects. Usually you can find these people around the $50 per 10 to 15 minute project range. Then with the mid-quality editors, they may add more After Effects and animations with music and sound effects as well, though the creativity and quality is noticeably less compared to the next type of editors. Usually these mid-quality editors pay about $20 or $30 per minute. Then we have the high-end editors, which is what I personally use. These guys use a lot of After Effects, they're very creative with their edits, and use lots of sound effects and music that really maximize capturing viewer attention. Usually you'll find these people at around the $40 or $60 per minute range. And then in the ultra high-end range, you'll find 3D animations, like something you'll find in Fern's videos. But that is out of context for this guide because I've seen that type of editing usually costing thousands of dollars in that range. And then next we have the voiceover artist. So there is really only a low end, which is around $5 per 150 words range. And then there's a more expensive and higher end. These type of guys will usually be easier to work with. They'll often provide more revisions just in case you want them to revoice a part of the script. And these voices are typically higher quality, they're more unique, and they sound better for like documentary type of videos. They don't sound so corporate and low quality, but they are, like I said, a bit more expensive at $25 per 500 words. Okay, the next is the thumbnail artists. The basic thumbnails you can get at $10 each. That's the cheapest I've seen. And then the advanced ones who pay very close attention to detail, these guys usually cost like $100 to $150 per thumbnail. So when I did start my YouTube long form automation channel, channel, I did use all of the high-end freelancers. So I had to really only take about $4,000 from my savings to start my YouTube long-form automation business, and then I would reinvest all the money I made from that one channel back into more videos. So that is the end of the hiring section. So now that you've hired people, now we can go on to packaging. This is the title and thumbnail, and like I said earlier, this is tied in importance with choosing topics, because packaging is what will take your views from 1,000 views to 3 million views. From experience, I had a video die at 15,000 views for 2 months straight. Like, you can literally see the graph right here. It was dead flat. But one day I changed the title and I got my thumbnail artist to make a new thumbnail, and immediately after, within the same week of changing that packaging, the video blew past 134,000 views, and today it's sitting at over 3 million views and earned me about $11,000, and it's still getting 2,500 views every 48 hours. Now, another very important thing that I would take note of is that you never want to change anything about a video if it's performing well. So if a video that you just posted is getting like 25,000 views per hour, then I would not change anything about it unless you're doing A/B testing. So A/B testing is a method where you test out which of your thumbnails is the best performing thumbnail. So in YouTube Studio, they give you the option to upload 3 thumbnails at the same time. So what YouTube will do is they will show each of these 3 thumbnails to different people, and then they will compile all the data that they have and then show you which one of these 3 thumbnails will perform the best or have performed the best. So yeah, if you have different thumbnails, A/B testing is the only time I would change something different if a video is doing very well. But if you don't have 3 different thumbnails that you can test from, then I would never change a already well-performing video. Okay, so next in the posting process is actually uploading the video. So making a description, the tags, etc. Descriptions can be a short summary of your video, and YouTube only uses tags if it has zero clue what your video or content is about. But this is very rarely the case. The YouTube algorithm is insanely smart, so it'll pick up what the topic is about based on what you say in the video and based on what your title is about. So you really don't need to mind doing tags, because I would say it's just a waste of time, because at the end of the day, it honestly just comes to this. If your video is good, YouTube will push it, and if it's bad, YouTube will stop pushing it. Simple as that. So you may be wondering, how many videos should I produce every week? And the simple answer to that is that you can post as little as you want or as many times as you want per week. Some YouTube automators do post videos months apart. For example, here, Summoning Salt, he posts once every few months. Like, you can see here, he posted 5 days ago, and then the last one before that was 2 months ago. You can be making a ton of money if you're posting one video every few months. And then on the other hand, you have channels like Ian News who are posting literally every hour. Like, that's crazy. So the cool thing about this business is that unlike TikTok clipping, where you need to post at least 100 videos to get your first signs of traction, it's totally possible to post 5 videos or less on a YouTube account and hit your first 1 million views. I've literally done it myself, and I've seen other YouTube automators hit 7 million views on their first video. So if you are a total beginner, I would sacrifice a little bit of quality for more volume. So post like 1 to 2 times per week. Doing this method will allow you to test more, and it'll also prevent you from burning through your entire startup capital. To this day, I've stuck with posting once per week on my YouTube channel because it creates a feeling of scarcity and exclusivity around your automated YouTube content. Okay, so now we move on to analyzing videos. So once you've posted your first few videos, start analyzing every single video. Study the retention graphs YouTube gives you. Also study your titles and thumbnails. And with all this data, start trying to guess or make theories or observe patterns for why these parts of the video perform really well or they perform really bad. What this allows you to do is, on your next video, you'll have those patterns noted down and try to replicate them and test different things in your next videos so that you get 1% better for every single that you post. For example, in a video, you might start noticing that when you give a backstory on a topic in the hook, that it doesn't perform well because you don't confirm what was shown in the title or thumbnail. So viewers stop watching immediately because they don't really care about that backstory. They came here for what you put in that packaging. It's extremely important that you reconfirm visually and through speaking why the viewer clicked on your video in the first place. This doesn't mean repeating the title. What you need to do is give a big teaser of what things will be talked about in the video, and it must make you feel a very strong emotional feeling immediately. So let's take a look at a good example from Sunny V2's The Worst Van Life Families on TikTok. This is his title and then the thumbnail. Okay, let's listen to the first hook.
Kids sleeping on the floor, pets held in tiny cages.
Okay, so immediately you can see that Sunny V2 says kids sleeping on the floor literally in the first line. And this makes the audience immediately feel angry or disgusted, so they want to stay, and in the next lines of the hook, Sunny continues to dig into that emotion of anger and disgust. So now let's take a look at a bad example from this channel, Cloudo. By the way, this is not anything to diss Cloudo. We're just trying to show you an objective example of what you should try to avoid. Floyd. Okay, so this is his video, how H3H3 sold his soul, and then this is the title or thumbnail. Okay, let's listen.
H3H3 has sold his soul, but to who and how and why? Well, this podcaster went from a well-loved comedian to the pure.
So the first line said is H3H3 has sold his soul. Doesn't really make you feel any emotions because it's not really shocking. It's literally just repeating what the title already says, which is why you already clicked on the video. Immediately the audience feels no emotion because that's exactly what was said in the title. So basically it's very important what is shown and said in the hook because this is how viewers will decide whether they want to stay and watch through the whole video or if they want to click off then and there. Okay, next is sponsorships and brand deals. So sponsorships can really make a big portion of your income. So from my experience, brand deals usually come to me at around 30k subs or so. So the most I've been paid for a single 1-minute sponsorship integration was $7,000. I know other YouTube automators that have made like over 100 grand with one single brand deal. And one thing to know about brands is that they will usually sponsor you only if you have high quality videos or a personality, which means that the brand will see more conversions to the product, which means that they might have a higher chance at renewing their sponsorship and doing another brand deal in other future videos of yours. So if you're doing a very automated low quality channel without any personality, you most likely won't get much sponsorships or not really expensive or high rates. So many of my brand deals are found by agencies that work for brands and for YouTube automators. Doing sponsorships, you get a ton of money because you're directly getting money from the brand and then YouTube is not taking any money from that. So the difference between RPM and CPM is that the brand pays YouTube a CPM and then YouTube takes their own cut of that CPM and then they pay you the RPM. RPM is the amount of money that YouTube pays you. And the good thing about brands and sponsorships is that they pay you directly without YouTube taking any cut. You get the whole deal. Except if you're using an agency, they will take 15 to 20% usually because they do the work, they do all the negotiations, they get the contract to you, they send you all the details. You literally just have to post the video and make the video, edit the video. So that's why the agency gets their cut. And then one thing that you need to know in business and remember is that the one that needs the money less is the one that has the most leverage. So don't get tricked into signing unfair brand deals because if you're so desperate at signing that deal, then it might end bad for you. Okay, so when it comes to agencies, I personally don't sign exclusive deals. These basically lock you in so you can't take any other deals from other brands or agencies during that contract period. But I also personally know other YouTube automators who do exclusive contracts because overall it is less work to do because you don't have to deal with multiple agencies or brands, but it's your choice whether you want to do exclusive or non-exclusive. I would recommend doing non-exclusive, but it's your choice again. Okay, so my CPM, cost per mil or cost per 1,000 views, is between $20 to $30 for a 1-minute ad integration. Always try to negotiate to get more from the sponsor, but do not make them overpay or else they will not want to work with you again in the future. Basically, you want to help the brand as well, so you don't want to scam them. You don't want them to spend so much money on your sponsorship and get zero conversions. Both sides have to make money. So moving on to the next bit for sponsors, you have to stay alert for scammers posing as sponsors. Always look at the email addresses first before you reply to the sponsors. If it's a sus email, then it's most likely a scam. So if the brand representative gives you their real name, verify them by searching up on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Then make sure they're not a bot account by going to the followers and verifying if their followers are actually real people. And then sometimes what I do, for example, I got a sponsorship, a scam sponsorship from this brand posing as Surfshark VPN. So what I did is I just literally just emailed Surfshark, is this your actual legit sponsorship domain name? And then they just got back to me and said that's fake as hell. So I just blocked that account. So once you know all the strategies and everything about YouTube long form automation, there's so much money to be made. It's so crazy actually. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire course or guide type of video overview. And a bunch of you have been asking me to mentor you one-on-one to help you get to $10,000 per month off of YouTube long form automation. So I decided to take you guys up on the request. So I'll be opening up 5 super exclusive spots so that you can learn everything that I know. And if you do want to get into one of the spots, there is an application form in the link in the description.